Picture this. People sitting in rooms, eyes closed, trying to see things happening thousands of miles away just by using their minds. From 1978 to 1995, the CIA spent $20 million researching and experimenting with remote viewing, a practice that claims to allow individuals to perceive details about a distant or unseen target using extrasensory perception. Yeah, it's true. Back in the 1970s and 80s, they ran a top-secret program, now declassified, called the Stargate Project. Now, this wasn't your typical spy stuff. It was all about testing the limits of the human mind. They wanted to see if people could use their mental powers to spy on distant targets. They even hired researchers from places like Stanford Research Institute and the Science Applications International Corporation. In this video, we're going to go through it all: how it started, why it started, how it ended, and the surprising consequences of the Stargate Project. The CIA has certainly been known to explore some unusual projects throughout its history. While much of its focus is on traditional intelligence gathering and analysis, the agency has occasionally dipped its toes into the more unconventional areas. These endeavors often stem from a desire to explore new possibilities and gain an edge in intelligence gathering, even if they seem a bit outlandish. For example, in addition to the Stargate Project, the CIA has also investigated topics like mind control, psychic phenomena, and even attempts to use animals as spies.
MKUltra was a government program. It was a mind control program, a brainwashing program. The CIA was trying to learn how to control people's behavior without their knowledge. Their main objective was to create what they called hypno-programmed assassins, people who would kill on command, popularly known as Manchurian candidates, after a book that was written in 1962 and later became a movie and then a movie again.
The Stargate Project emerged from the heightened tensions of the Cold War era, particularly during the 70s, when there was a growing concern within the US intelligence community about the possibility of the Soviet Union gaining an advantage in unconventional warfare tactics. Reports of Soviet research into psychic phenomena such as telepathy and telekinesis prompted the US government to explore similar avenues. During this time, various agencies, including the CIA and the Defense Intelligence Agency (DIA), began investigating the potential military and intelligence applications of psychic abilities. It was driven by the belief that if psychic phenomena were real and could be harnessed, they could provide a significant edge in intelligence gathering and national security. Their tool of choice? Remote viewing, the cornerstone of the Stargate Project.
Actually, we're not sure exactly how it works, but it is possible to report on the position or place that they're located.
And how accurate is it?
Over a number of times, about 4,000 plus times that I've been tested in a lab under lab conditions, I'm running about 25 to 28% of the time I get to target.
And that's a very good success rate?
Yes, usually when I'm on the target, I'm around 85% correct on the information I provide.
The concept draws from parapsychology and has its roots in psychic research, which began in 1972 at the Stanford Research Institute by physicist Russell Targ and Harold Puthoff. After
20 years of work at SRI doing this activity for the CIA, and we spent more than $20 million, what we discovered is that the ancient Hindus, Patanjali, 500 years before Christ, had it right. Patanjali wrote a handbook describing how to get in touch with your psychic abilities on the path to transcendence.
They started testing alleged psychics and their powers with people like Uri Geller, who would go on to worldwide fame for his spoon-bending antics.
Uri, dass sich der Löffel nachher verbiegt. Dann anwenden würde es brechen. Aber berührt es nur, spürt, dass es gar keine Kraft dabei.
Do you feel that it's becoming more, look, it's becoming like a plastic.
Yeah.
There. There. And no heat, touch it. There is no heat. And look how...
Joe McMoneagle, a former Army warrant officer, spent 15 years as a remote viewer for the Pentagon's Stargate program.
And you never met him before, have you?
No, I've never met him before.
This is the only information that Joe gets. It's something to concentrate on.
Okay.
Shaw Taylor is on the north bank of the River Thames, opposite a dockside, a power station, and a railway bridge.
I'm trying to concentrate on him and perceive what it is he's looking at. My sense of it is some kind of a raised object, perhaps. It's starting to look a lot like a bridge, but I don't want to call it a bridge.
Okay.
I don't want to call it a bridge yet. Looks a lot like a bridge, but I don't know if this is a walkway or if this is actually a waterway. This could be water as well.
On CIA.gov, you can find declassified documents outlining instructions on remote viewing and notes gathered from sessions in 1974. One of those notes detailed what an RV saw. I backed up the time and watched the 2 atomic explosions. Number 1, Chinese. Looked like a tower shot and was very blue, violet in color. The fireball maintained those colors throughout, except a very short period at the end when it briefly turned orange-red. Number 2, French. Looked like an incoming missile, about 5,000 feet elevation. This one, color initially white, then yellow, then orange, then red. Note, there should be an outbreak of pneumonia in north-central China about the 21st of June, lasting through 1 week. Quite a high number of cases should be fatal. None of these details were corroborated or verified, as the report just ends there. The Stargate Project enlisted a diverse array of participants, including military personnel, government contractors, and civilians with claimed psychic abilities. Notable figures associated with the project include individuals like Ingo Swann, a self-proclaimed psychic who played a key role in developing the protocols and techniques used in remote viewing. Swann's alleged abilities and contributions to the project have been the subject of much speculation and debate, however. Most notably, in 1973, he remote viewed the rings of Jupiter, 9 months before Voyager got there and confirmed their presence.
Jupiter also has rings, but these rings are made of dust, so they're hard to see. In fact, they were only discovered by the Voyager spacecraft. Before that, we didn't know that Jupiter had rings.
The now declassified document reads, "Stripes are like bands of crystals, distinctly yellow, maybe like the rings of Saturn. Inside those cloud layers, they look beautiful from the outside. I came through the cloud cover. The atmosphere is very thick. I see something that looks like a tornado." Critics argued that remote viewing lacked empirical support and was based on anecdotal evidence rather than rigorous scientific experimentation.
Magical thinking, is a slippery slope. Sometimes it's harmless enough, but other times it's quite dangerous. Personally, I'm opposed to that kind of fakery, so I have no reservations at all about exposing these people and their illusions for what they really are. And it gets soft. So I say to it, bend, 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 and it bends. Of course, it does take a little preparation. In fact, it takes a lot of preparation. And then, of course, there was Mr. Geller's appearance on The Tonight Show. I told them to provide their own props and not to let Geller or his people anywhere near them.
You don't feel, what, strong tonight?
I don't feel strong. It's not all tonight. Right now I'm feeling being pressed, and then I can't.
Well, I'm not trying to press you. I really not.
No, you're only telling me, well, will you try that or that?
Well, I thought that was the idea of. No, I'm not trying to push you down.
Many serious people at many prestigious centers of learning in this country and abroad are spending their time investigating further in this provocative field of study. The amount of foolproof, repeatable scientific data so far has been negligible, but the work continues and the interest grows.
Critics also raised concerns about the potential for biases and errors in remote viewing sessions, suggesting that any apparent success could be attributed to chance, coincidence, or the use of conventional intel gathering techniques. Having lasted 2 decades, the Stargate Project officially came to an end in 1995, with the release of a report by the CIA's Office of the Inspector General. The report, known as the Stargate Project Review, concluded that there was no evidence to support the existence of psychic abilities or the effectiveness of remote viewing or intelligence purposes. The OIG report cited methodological flaws, inconsistent results, and the lack of replicability in remote viewing experiments as reasons for discontinuing the program. Despite its closure, the Stargate Project left a lasting legacy in pop culture and the public imagination. Most notably, The Men Who Stare at Goats, a book by journalist John Ronson, published in 2004 and later adapted into a film in 2009 starring George Clooney. The title itself refers to one of the more peculiar anecdotes in the book, which involves claims that the US military investigated the possibility of using psychic powers as a tool for remote killing. This includes attempts to kill goats just by staring at them, hence the title. Even The X-Files took the topic on in its 5th season with the episode Mind's Eye.
How could I do that if I'm innocent?
I believe you witnessed both murders. You saw them somehow, but you were way across town when they happened. You were a $60 cab ride away.
Interest in parapsychology and related phenomena persists among researchers and enthusiasts. Whether successful or not, valuable intel gathered or time wasted, just the mere fact that at the height of the Cold War, the governments of 2 rival superpowers invested millions and decades into the paranormal is fascinating enough. And if this is what they chose to declassify and share with the public, just try to imagine what they keep locked away.